Hey, it's just me, by myself, hanging out with me. Looking forward to checking in with people. Let's see who drops in. JB, welcome. I really don't know. I have no idea if this will be every Sunday thing. I would love to make this more structured, but I'm just not sure. It's usually on a whim. Looks like there's a few people here. Welcome. I'm so glad to have you pop in. These live streams are endlessly more enjoyable, I think, if you're the one jumping in on a live stream, if you leave a comment or ask a question or check in. So if you've never done that before, do it. It's worth it. It makes it more interesting for you and for me. So yeah, let me know where you're from, what's on your mind, if you have any thoughts or any questions. Why do you subscribe? What brings you here? And maybe we just go from there. JB says, not a problem, just wondering. Thank you regardless, of course. Marina Kale says, hey, hi Marina, how are you? Yeah, what are you guys up to? What brings you here today? Ooh. Who's going to break the seal? I suppose I could just break the seal. Maybe I'll change the title. Hi, Kirsten. Okay. JB says meal prep for the week, and meal prepping, I'm assuming you're saying for the week, and drawing out a blueprint for starting a new routine that revolves around no using porn to deal with stress. That sounds awesome. If you're comfortable telling us, how often are you watching porn? And when you meal prep, what does that look like for you? Kirsten says, hi, hello. I'm doing really, really well. I'm having a really good day. I just wanted to check in and say hi to anyone who happened to be around. It's a little warm in my office, I will say, but I'm doing good. How are you? Excuse me. All of you, open-ended question, but how are you? Kirsten in particular. Marina says, I saw the clip you added to your dad's video recently about parenting. Yeah, we've been trying to still make content on that big channel. I had a lot of fun making that video. Not a lot of people saw it, but that's okay. It's definitely okay. Marina, where are you from? If you don't mind me asking. Chicago area. How long have you lived there? JB says, at this point, it's almost every day. My job is horrendous and has been causing me all kinds of emotional pain, so porn has been like a bag of chocolates for my mind. I really appreciate your honesty. It's a really, really seductive, easy access, quick, feel-good release for a lot of people. Of course, left unchecked, it can be damaging for sure, but I don't judge you and I get it. JB says, oh, what do you do for work? And Marina's from the Chicago area. Awesome. I've always been a Chicagoan. Gotcha. I've only been to Chicago once. I thought it was beautiful. It was summertime. I think I went at the perfect time. JB says, my diet consists of roots, veggies, and lean meats. Beautiful. Sounds like you have a clean diet. Kirsten says, pretty stressed out, but doing good enough. Lots of financial struggles and hardships. Yeah. Kirsten, I too have been going through, I guess you would say, some financial hardships, but I keep everything in perspective for my own story. But I feel really good, on the other hand. So I'm sorry you're going through that. Dandy says, sober 1.5 years. Nice. Really, really great. Never thought it possible. Life is better without a dark cloud of alcohol. I could not agree more. I seriously, I've been feeling so consistently good and calm and stable, you might say, in my sobriety these days that I just can't imagine ever going back. I hope I don't. I'm certainly not going to for today. So congratulations on your 1.5 years. That's incredible. Juan Ignacio says, how do I know if I need TRT? Is it possible that my levels are in range and yet this is still not right for me and doesn't make me feel good? I mean, levels are one thing, right? When it comes to being on testosterone replacement therapy, for sure. The levels are also skewed because the range is so wide and every guy is different. Every girl is different, hormonally speaking. Your free testosterone is endlessly more important than your total. I've heard of men feeling really good with middle of the range T. I've heard of men feeling really bad with middle of the range T. Whether or not you want to get on it is a very personal decision. One of the things to consider is that if you start TRT, you'll always be on TRT more than likely. And the other real thing, right, is that if you are living a lifestyle that is not conducive for having healthy hormones, i.e. you're sleeping poorly, you're overly stressed out, you're drinking and smoking and or whatever, those things should probably be considered first. Very personal decision though. Free testosterone is the most important thing. JB says, I'm a shelter operations manager for a homeless shelter. Wow, that sounds like a really, really important job. Maybe a very stressful one as well. But boy, does that sound important. Kirsten says, both girls had soccer games yesterday. I coached my youngest. My oldest is on varsity, and my youngest had 2 baseball games this morning, so long weekend. You're such a super mom. That's incredible, especially with everything you have to go through, Kirsten. I don't know how you do it. I think that's incredible. Good job. Seriously. All my friends that have kids, I don't even know what to say. I think they're heroes. Absolute, unequivocal heroes. Because I don't know how they do it. It just looks so stressful to be a parent. Maybe I'll find out one day. Marina says it's 4 p.m. here. I know it's 2 p.m. for you. That sounds about right. That makes sense. Juan Ignacio says, thanks a lot. You got it, dude. Anyone else that's here? There's 18 people, 17 people on the stream. Some of you might be checking in for the first time. This is like a live Q&A situation. Anything on your mind is worth sharing. It's a safe place to do that. Ask a question, direct the conversation. Anything you want to add. These live streams, especially the way I do them, in that I just start them and hang out with you guys. I depend on you. I need you guys to leave me comments. I need you guys to ask questions. I need you guys to steer the conversation. It means a lot. So thank you to everyone who participates. For anyone who's just jumping in on this live stream, say what's on your mind or ask a question that you're curious about. It's really, really important. It helps make this possible, and it feels good. You'll be more interested in the live stream if you've got a question looming in the queue, so to speak. And if you want to support me on here and get your question answered first, although I don't know that will matter as far as how many people are here, you can do a super chat. It always makes a huge difference for a humble little YouTuber like me. Okay, where were we? Chris Rose says, is it weird to have a health scare that turned out to be a panic attack and now I have extreme health anxiety? No, that doesn't sound weird at all. 40 years old, have never dealt with anxiety or panic attacks before. Well, welcome to a terrible club. I'm sorry that you are now officially a member. I'm sorry you were initiated. But it's not weird. I have a friend who went from having perfect mental health per se. No one has perfect mental health, but whatever you might imagine a well-adjusted, healthy seeming person to be and to act like and to process their life. I had a friend get stressed out on a work trip. He had been admittedly taking too many edibles in a couple weeks leading up, and he had a full-blown nervous breakdown that ended up being like a psychotic, manic situation or state that required hospitalization. It required pretty heavy administration of psych meds. It just took him from never knowing this side of life to suddenly being ruthlessly introduced to it. And he's overcome it. It took a few months, but these things happen and they are very scary. They're very overwhelming, and they do get better. They really, really do get better. So, no, it's not weird, but I would pay attention. If you had a panic attack, you had a health scare, I wonder if these aren't the situations or the reasons to, or a reason to really take inventory of our lives, to take stock, to see what's going on, to see what we might do to take better care of ourselves. Because one thing panic will do for you, one thing a mental breakdown will do for you, one thing a life tragedy would do for you is give you perspective and have you interested in mitigating risk for it to happen again. Hang in there. That's a terrible place to be. Chad Allen said, "What up, homie? What's the dizzle, my nizzle?" I knew you would. If you jumped in, I always hope that you do. I was expecting a comment just like that. I'm doing really well. I found myself in the kitchen earlier, kind of dancing, listening to music, so happy and just so pumped to be feeling good that I could have cried. Swear to God. Feeling good. Chris says, "I've been sober since then and have lost 60 pounds, trying my best to." Yeah, that's tough. Just be brave and hang in there and get lots of support if you need it, my friend. Chad said, "I was in the same boat. Chris had my first panic attack at 37 and it changed my world, man. I know how hard it is to deal with those feelings. Best advice I can give is don't let the fear control you." Amen, Chad. AS3D says, "I'm 35 years old, 1.8 M and 88 kg. The only dose here in Iraq is 250 of tests, and I'm using it every 2 weeks. Keep average test about 5. I'm now become good body shape, but my libido's still low after 4 months." It sounds like you're doing the best you can with the circumstance you have. I appreciate you sharing that, and I hope that gets better. I know more frequent dosing was really, really helpful for me. I wonder if that would be helpful for you, or if that's even a possibility for you. But way to take care of yourself. Amaya's art and singing channel. Hey, Noah. Hi, Amaya. How are you today? You're drawing? That's cool. That's awesome. JBR type says, "I haven't felt that kind of happiness in years. I'm sorry to hear that. I know how upsetting that can be. I really, really do." Kirsten says, "Haha, thank you. I'm a single mom, and their dad unfortunately doesn't care too much, doesn't put them first, so it can be extra stressful physically and emotionally." Yeah, I can only imagine. My parents were together when we were being raised, and it seemed really hard on their relationship, and it seemed really hard for them in general. So yeah, single moms are incredible. Absolutely incredible. To anyone else watching who hasn't commented, please leave a comment. Please leave a question. Please join the conversation. I love the question that I came up with earlier, which is just like, what brings you here? Why are you following this channel? What's going on in your life that led you to me? I'd love to know a little bit more about you. Amaya says, "I'm great. I'm drawing Disney's Encanto." Oh, that's so cool. Good for you. Chad says, Noah, you ever bought a storage unit at auction? Been doing it for years now and loving it. Lots of weird and unusual finds. No, I never even considered something like that. How long have you been doing that? And is there like a business model you're putting behind this? Also, how much does it cost? Triple O Charlie. "Hi, Noah. How are you doing? I'm roasting down here in SoCal." Dude, it's good to see you. Good to hear from you. I'm doing really, really well. I just feel really, really good these days. And I'm so happy about that. How are you doing, by the way? I was just in Northern Cali. I took a vacation with my wife for 3 days. It was really fun, but it wasn't warm. I went to Crescent City. Justin Hood says, "How's the weightlifting?" Good. I am a CrossFit person, CrossFit athlete. So my weightlifting is always just in the flow of my CrossFit training program. But back squatting, deadlifting, jerking, power cleans, power snatches, overhead squats, all of it, doing it every week, 5-6 days a week. It's like my favorite thing in this world. Marlon says, started a new job last week and struggling with sobriety. I was out of a job for 3 months and did nothing but drink because I had nothing else going for myself. Any advice to getting back to sobriety? I really appreciate your transparency, Marlon, first and foremost. I know for me, the best and most helpful thing that I have found to be effective is to go to 12-step meetings and get myself right in the middle of those 12-step meetings. So I found a sponsor, I have a home group, I have a service position in that home group. I went to well over 90 meetings in 90 days, and I worked steps. So if you have never done that, it is a free and widely available option for you where you will find like-minded people who understand what it's like to have struggled and lost control with their relationship with alcohol, and you'd be wanted and welcome. But outside of that, maybe a drug and alcohol counselor or something like Smart Recovery. Support is what I'm trying to say. I think addiction and drinking and all of that is a disease of isolation, and the opposite of addiction, I've been told, is connection, and you can find connection in 12-step rooms. I will be going later today to my home group. I'm coming up on a year sober, and it's by no special effort of my own. It's just by the gifts of the program and some luck and some God, I think. Good luck. Don't give up. Amaya says, how's your dad? I think he's happy. He's writing a book, or he wrote a book, I guess it's done. And he's in the process. Excuse me. Ooh, child. He's in the process of promoting that book. So he's good. Okay. Chris Rose says, I found your channel by looking into TRT after my panic attack. Doc did a complete blood test. Everything was good, but my testosterone was 157 in total, 5.7 free. Put me on a gel, said it would help. Nice. Yeah, your T is super low, my friend, and a gel will likely help. Just be consistent with it, be patient, get blood work, weigh, kind of keep track of how you're doing, maybe mood journaling, and just be on that journey if that's the journey you're on, and then consider controlling the things that you can, your sleep, your relationships, your diet, lifestyle, stuff like that. It really, really helps the testosterone. It helps take some of the pressure off of the testosterone to all the heavy lifting. And good luck with that, Chris. It'll get better. Te prometo. Chad Allen says, been doing it for a year. There are several websites you can use to view pics and bid on what you can see. Initially a hobby, but turning into a business. It's been an adventure, loving it. And that's super cool. It'd be like its own form of Christmas, I'm assuming, minus the hard work. What do you end up doing with all the stuff you don't want in a situation like that? Like if you get, if you win the auction and now all of that stuff is yours, what is the expectation that you clear out the unit, and how fast, and what to do with an auction of stuff you don't end up ultimately selling or something? It's just fascinating to me. I'm sure I could look it up, but I bet you'll tell me. I bet you'll let me know. Triple O Charlie says, I just watched a recent video the other day about how your wife stuck with you through thick and thin. You have a strong marriage. It's okay for you and everyone when you fall down to start over again. Amen to that. And yeah, I do have a strong marriage right now. I think I had a stronger wife than I did a marriage for a long time. But I do think present day, my marriage and my relationship is healthy and something good and something to be respected and coveted, that's for sure. And it's a gift of sobriety, and I'm very thankful. I'm very, very thankful. AS3D, I'm asking if I can increase the dose or minimize the duration, 2 weeks, or it's better to ask a specialist. I feel I'm good, but when you see the advantages of bodybuilding, you tend more. Okay. Without any context as to what you're saying, AS3D, I don't know what your dose is. For whatever it's worth, I love the physical side effects Like, I love being, pretty built and being athletic and having the opportunity to use my body and work out and have fun and be strong. That's great. But for me personally, especially the longer I'm on it, but always to whatever degree, it's just becoming more, what's the word? I think my wants are becoming more clarified for myself. But what I'm trying to say is that whatever muscular stuff I can get, whatever aesthetic benefits I can get for being on hormone replacement therapy, they cannot, and I refuse to let them supersede mental, emotional well-being, physical well-being. I'm on TRT personally because I was hypogonadal and I was treatment resistant to my depression and I was suicidal and experiencing every symptom under the sun when it comes to low testosterone. So I say that to say that the dosing for me is as little as possible to be effective. And right now I'm taking 120 milligrams per week. I split that into 2 doses. This feels good for me, and I want to feel good, and I want to be safe, and I want to be mentally clear. And then after that, because it's all a gift of TRT, modern medicine, and my incredibly blessed life, then yeah, I want to be as strong as I can and fit as possible and enjoy athletics and lifting weights and enjoy my physique and stuff like that. But it has to be under the guise of I will be taking care of what's most important for me personally. So I appreciate your honesty, and I would just encourage you to look deep, deep, deep down inside and clarify within yourself what your values are and what you think is most important for you long term. And then go from there. But more frequent, smaller doses are better. Kirsten says, at the SMART meetings I attend for addiction support, they like to ask what a glimmer for the week is, upcoming or past. Do you have one? I'm assuming, that's so cool, by the way. What a glimmer for the week. I'm assuming like something you're excited about. And I would say that this next week, I'm just excited to compete in the online qualifiers for a Masters CrossFit competition in December. So I'm a 37-year-old dude. I'm obsessed with CrossFit. There's a competition that I've been waiting for. It starts tomorrow. And I think it's like a 10-day competition to probably get like 5 or 6 workouts done. And I'm just really excited to see how I do and to see if I can qualify for an in-person competition in December. I would never get to do this if I wasn't sober. I'm only sober because of God and 12 steps, so I'm really, really grateful. And I want the same answer from you. Well, not the same answer, but I have the same question for you. Mohammed says, yo, bro, thanks for all your videos. You're awesome. Your personality is cool. I enjoy all your videos throughout the years. They are comforting. Thank you. Life is full of suffering and pain, but we are in this. Beautifully said. Thank you for the kind words. We are in this. I agree that there's a lot of potential discomfort and suffering that happens in life, but there seems to be a lot more reasons to push forward and to seek out beauty and to keep trying. And so I'm glad I'm still here. I'm glad you're still here. Trucker Rick says, I wish I could find a doctor like yours. My testosterone is still 192 and can't find a doctor to put me on TRT. At 64, not sure what else to do. I have no energy at all. Trucker Rick, I appreciate your comment. Someone will treat you. Go to a naturopath, check in with a urologist, go to an MD, go to a different MD, do an online clinic. Don't give up. You're worthy of being treated if that's what you need. Someone will treat you. Just keep trying. Ken something says, hey, no, I recently started TRT and I'm doing quad injections. Are you still using a 5/8 inch needle? Do you reach muscle every injection? I tried 1 inch long, but keep hitting a nerve around. Yeah, dude, the needles I use to inject are 1/2 inch needle, 27 gauge. They're so tiny. I have very, very little fat on my thighs, on my legs, and I do the outer quadrant of my thigh. Yeah, I'm getting into the muscle belly, no problem with that. That's what works for me. I would not use a 1 inch personally. Best of luck, G. Zach says, been on TRT 2 months, 170 injections weekly. How does it How long does it take to feel better? It really just depends, Zach. Congrats on getting on TRT if that's something that you need, like I need and needed. How much and how often and when you will feel better are incredibly individual. You don't want to be overly medicated necessarily, right? So 170 is a pretty hefty dose, but not necessarily too much. It's certainly within higher echelons of TRT, but it's not necessarily too much. However, depending on how often you're dosing, for me it's twice a week. I've heard stories of dudes doing microdosing sub-Q every day. Some guys once a week. It really just depends on what you think will help you be the most consistent. But depending on how you are and how your physiology is working, you may or may not convert some of your excess testosterone into estradiol, aka estrogen, which can have side effects and symptoms, which might sort of convolute the relief you would get from TRT if you were low. So, in so many words, make sure you're using the minimal effective dose as infrequently or as frequently as you can sustain to mitigate side effects and keep your blood work healthy. This is sort of like my shotgun bird's eye view of TRT. And if all of that is done, then you should be feeling a bit better by now. But remember that TRT and what's going to be it for you, it's often, if not always, a piece of the puzzle, not the complete solution to whatever parts of your life have been difficult or whatever symptoms you're trying to relieve or whatever your particular struggles are. I know for me that addressing my low testosterone was wildly important. However, I also know for me that TRT was never going to beat addiction for me. TRT was never going to force me to be mature and grow up and live life more responsibly. Those things had to come with trial and error and other efforts and pursuits, right? But I couldn't really have access to myself to grow and to adapt and to become a better version of myself unless I addressed the low T. So I hope that makes sense. Maya's Art and Singing Channel, how's your gym going? The gym is going okay. Thanks for asking. Kirsten says, nice, that sounds awesome. I unfortunately had to suspend my gym membership due to finances and new medication side effects. Oh, I'm so sorry. What medication side effects? Exactly, bro. Oh, Muhammad says exactly, bro. It's cool that we exist together and living this life. Yeah, to think of, I heard this the other day on Instagram and I just loved it. Or I think it was Instagram, but someone said something to the effect of like, isn't it wild that we're all here together at the same time, given the wild expanse of the universe and how long Earth has been around and how many different people have lived here, but we're all here at the exact same time together. We are the people that we'll be sharing our lifespan with on Earth. I suppose that's a relatively out there thing to say, but it's kind of crazy when you think about it, you know? Okay. My glimmer this past week from Kirsten was something as simple as belated B-Day card in the mail from my aunt. Hell yeah, I love that. John Smith says, which clinic does Big Nono use? John, I work with naturopath locally here. Chad says 3 options. Keep all items of value and start a thrift store, donate the junk or throw it away. Okay, so there's like the potential that you would end up having to spend some of your own capital to get rid of the stuff you needed to, but ideally sell enough to warrant the purchase. Kirsten says, my mood has quickly hit a more rock bottom mood and I've been frustrated and depressed. Yeah, who wouldn't be? I look forward and I believe in the day where you're going to check in and just tell me that you're good. Not perfect or anything like that, but you're going to check in one day and just say, I've been consistently stable, like as stable as you might want. I want that for you. I wish that for you. I see that for you. Triple O Charlie says, have you thought of competing in a Mr. Muscle type of contest like bodybuilding? I have, and I do think I will scratch that itch at some point. I really do. But I haven't done it yet. But I think I will. Zach McIntosh, thanks, man. You bet, brother. Chad says, have you ever tried the carnivore diet? I'm 9 days in, feel the best I felt in a long time, but having chest pain, not sure if anxiety, diet related, or both heart attack symptoms. Oh, geez. Yeah, I've never tried the carnivore diet outright. It's not something I'm currently interested in. I wouldn't rule it out. But obviously, I believe that one of the benefits of the carnivore diet is that you are going to be eliminating ultra-processed foods. And ultra-processed foods, in my particular opinion, are the catalyst for most of the diseases and issues that ail us in the modern era. So I think that part of the carnivore diet, just the nature of the diet eliminating so many things that are problematic is wonderful. I'm an athlete. I'm someone who thinks about and processes my life through the lens of an athlete, and that what I eat fuels my performance. And I'm a performance-based athlete, so I need glycogen. I need carbohydrate to best fuel my performance based on my sport. And it rules out the carnivore diet for me at this time. But I know it has some efficacy, and I know it's done some great things for some people. I certainly encourage everyone to explore whatever they think will make them feel better, live better, all of those things. Chase says, hi, Noah. I really enjoy your content. We'll be getting sober from alcohol again soon. Good. If that's what you think is best for you, then that's wonderful. And I'm glad you enjoy the content. The water's warm over here. Getting sober is hard at times, or can be. I know it's very overwhelming, can be very scary, but it's worth it for me. I think it's very worth it. Kirsten says, I started lithium a couple months ago, but been titration. Kirsten says, I started lithium a couple months ago, been titration and such, but fatigue, headaches, and nausea have been the main thing. Frustrated to not have the gym because I've also had significant weight gain. Yeah, I bet so. I hope you get stable on that soon. I've never taken lithium, but I know it can be really powerful, of course, for the right people, for the right reasons. The ghost of JG says, hi, friend, how are you? I'm chilling, dude. I'm doing really, really well today. Thank you very much for asking. How are you? How are you? Kirsten says, thank you. I had a pretty good and noticeable stretch while in a partial hospitalization program for about a month or so. Hopefully we can figure this out. You will figure this out for sure. Mohammed Radi says, quads injections are no for me. I use my legs a lot, walk a lot, so they are the hardest of my muscle. It feels like injecting into a hard object, and the muscle twitch bad and just painful. Inject glute, delt, sub-Q. Cool. Sounds like you found something that works for you. I definitely don't think I have the perfect protocol as far as where I administer. It's just what I've always done. I don't mind doing it. I have had injections though where it very much feels like I'm pushing into a cork, but it's just what I do. I'm just used to it. Kirsten says, I have bipolar 2, and without the meds, it can get rough. So unfortunately, as a parent, I have figured out it's best to anyways. Yeah, that's right. I forgot about the bipolar 2. Yeah, you're a warrior. Bush says, hi, Noah. Your videos are some of the most authentic on YouTube. I have recently succumbed to my 3rd depression. Damn. I did it myself. I did it to myself, drugs. I am about to move back to my parents to try to recover. I'm 44. I really appreciate your honesty. I appreciate... Hi! Sorry for yelling. My sister-in-law's here, and she just said hello. I'm so sorry you're suffering, and it's okay to move back in your parents and do whatever you have to do. And it doesn't really matter how you ended up back in this spot. You're worthy, you matter, and you deserve to get better. I hope you're being as gentle with yourself as you can, and I wish you so much courage and strength. Chad says, how's the gym really doing? You took a deep breath when asked that initially. Business ownership in general is a never-ending journey for sure. Best of luck, brother. The business is not very profitable, but the people and the experience and the learning experience for me and my love for the game, the proverbial game, those things are great, but the business isn't very profitable. So a lot of my time isn't compensated, and that's all right. But finances are tight, and so putting so much time into something that's not compensating me is just a thing I'm trying to negotiate and navigate. Well, what's the word? Good observation. Guys, I'm gonna let you go here. Thank you for everyone who popped into this random impromptu live feed. I really enjoyed it. I really appreciate you guys. I'm gonna go say hi to some family and enjoy the rest of my Sunday. I hope you do the same. And we'll see you guys in the next video. Be brave, take care, and thank you guys very much for coming to the live stream. It means a lot. Adios.